Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha Bean of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
He saw me and was talking, and I saw Michael B. Jordan when I was in Vegas at Floyd Mayweather's gym. Like a couple of weeks prior. So we kind of remember, we had a little history, we were talking.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, he was like, yo, y'all like a vibe? I like the, a vibe from you. Yo, this guy who's in the ring, they want him to play the part, but I like you. If you can beat him up and I definitely like have you in the part. I took that as a championship fight. Yeah, so I beat the piss out. I beat the piss out that guy. And I remember, and Michael invited me to his crib, and he had a phone. He had me on like FaceTime with Michael Cougar. I said Ryan Coogler, and we literally wrote me a part right then and there. And
that's
awesome.
I was like,
damn, thank you. Yeah. So that's that kind of like led me to, the industry, the industry, quote unquote, the Hollywood. And he on set, he was such a great friend. He showed me how to maneuver, gave me some games. So I really took that seriously.
Yeah, I mean, I do believe that when it's a calling, I think that, like you said, I love what you said about it. It came to you, like you're not seeking something. It's like you're just living your life, and it just comes. It's like you were meant for it. It was like destiny, because it's
Correct.
like, oh, I have this kind of background already, and you just never know like how things kind of play out in life, and it's I find those very interesting. It's like divine time.
Agreed. Yes. I kind of like not to put too much into like, oh, it's a coincidence, but at the same time, it's a reason why those things happen. And I like acting. I love it. I do funny skits, and those are like that's like my acting reel.
Yeah, so exactly.
That's how I look at it.
Have you always naturally been funny? Like a funny person?
A lot of yeah. I always like to joke. I always like to joke, like, what I mean, because it's like I have my friends who like, so serious, and boxing was so serious. I was like, man, it shouldn't be all that be serious. So I always like to have fun. I always like to joke. One of the biggest family moments, I know it's like a myth, but back then, and probably still now, I don't know, but back then, Black families used to eat dinner together and watch TV. So I never forget. Yeah, exactly. So I never forget. We used to watch Wheel of Fortune. We used to watch stuff that my pastor put it on. But Comic View was in my house, and we all laugh. And I used to love when a comic would make my family laugh. And I'm like, oh man, that's fun. I go to school and repeat the joke, and they'll laugh. So I always been around comedy. So stand up was really, I think, all this was just like me to nurture, understand that stand up is my true passion because I love it. Yeah.
That's great. Like you said, when you like that stand up come along, how did you kind of get into it? How'd you get involved? And was it like you going to clubs and just kind of going and networking that way?
I watched this movie from Netflix called Burning Sands. It was like a fraternity movie, the Netflix original. Okay, yeah.
I've heard of it.
Okay, yes. A lot of guys my age was on that shoot, and I would have them dying during the set, and I have them dying. I was like, bro, you should do stand up. And I'm like, all right, well, it's more than like a couple of people said that. So when a couple of people said that, I was like, all right, I'm gonna just put it in the back of my head. So when Burning Sands came out, everyone was getting roles except me.
Oh.
I was like, damn, all right, wait, is it my agency? What is going on? So I was like, okay, well, I didn't think nothing of it, but my pops always said, like, bro, I think you need like more than acting. You need like you can't be a one-trick pony. So I was like, all right. He's like, do what you got to do. Like, I was like, well, I like stand up. He was like, well, do you know anything about it? I was like, nah. He was like, I'll research it. I'll see how to get in and I'll understand it. Well, I had a friend named Tasha, and she was like a showrunner.
Nice.
And she was like, yo, look, I need help with public speaking. There's a stand-up class. You want to take it? Instantly when she told me, I took it. It was like David Arnold. And it was like an 8-week class. And uh, the reason why I took it so seriously is because that during that 8 weeks I was in there who's with people who did it for like 8 years, 10 years,
Wow.
5 years. This is her and I first day. And David, our teacher, was like, yo, I really hope, this guy does something with this, with stand up because you're very talented. And we had like a showcase, and I was the best one at the showcase. Nice. And it's been like, it was like, yo, it's been love ever since with stand up. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, so I just do mics and just try to like grow my name through the LA comedy scene. That's all I've been doing.
Is it pretty competitive? Yeah. I mean, I'm sure. I know acting is too. I'm sure because there's so many people, right, that just flock to Los Angeles to do the same thing. I mean, there's so many talented people. I mean, how do you deal with that? And how do you keep it fresh? I mean, did you remember that time? And not to just mention her, but Amy Schumer, everyone talks about her because she's kind of been known of taking jokes and kind of just retwisting them and using it as her own.
Of course, copying.
But how do you keep it fresh as an act, like as a comedian, and just how do you what inspires you?
Your point of view. Every day, every situation is a joke in it. If it's truth, there's a joke. Right. So I just try to keep it what frustrates me. What frustrates, and I just talk about it. And then just try to make it as relatable as possible. And, sometimes you get personal jokes. If you really look at it, if you talk about the same jokes, I mean, if you let's go to a stand-up show, we all live through certain situations and we just talk about it. And keeping it fresh and coming up through the comedy scene and the competitiveness, I think that it's competitive, of course, because everyone wants stage time. And now you have these YouTubers or these Instagram these people put out, videos. They're doing it with all these followers. So it can be saturated a little bit because everybody want to be a stand-up comedian. But if you're being you and you're being authentic, I think people gravitate towards you. And that's how I started getting booked on shows because I just did it my own way.
I love that.
I knew what I wanted. I knew my style. It's not. It was struggles at first because I came from boxing. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't scared to getting on that stage. I was like, yo, look, I'm not getting punched in the face. So I always had confidence. and acting gave me stage presence. So I had confidence in stage presence. Now my jokes was all right, but my confidence in stage presence back then would carry me through.
Right.
So I kept that going. And then now I start to more and more understanding like how to write a joke, how to structure a joke, how to, create a bit. It's like a puzzle piece. Like, oh, okay, put it over here, and then boom. And then once you can get as much as you can out of that joke, you maximize it.
Right.
And on to the next one. So that was my thing. That was my my goal. So for the other people that's like coming and moving to LA, it can be flooded.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, as long as you kill on every show, it's like, yo, that's what it was. And trust me, I had my ups and downs, but I think I'm at a point now where I'm very confident and I feel like I can follow anyone and do my own, just your charisma and your personality comes out. They was like, who are you? And that's why I think that if you bomb one show, everyone hears about it. You better be Floyd Mayweather on that stage because everybody like it's less bookings than
it's kind of scary. It's like, you can't control the audience. You just never know what it's like going in. You just kind of have to just be that your fearless self and confident person. But how do you deal with hecklers? I'm curious. Have you had any hecklers in?
Yeah, I had one last night. That's crazy. She was this black woman in her front row, and her and her man, and she did fitness, and I was like, "Why are you heckling me?" And I was like, "All right, since you want to do something, let's do it." So, but they want you to neutralize them with jokes and all that other stuff. They just sit down and they take it. But I don't necessarily have too many hecklers, but it was just so odd that I had that one in a long time, and I'm looking for any reason to get off my set and just talk about it. But I usually try to like take the audience on a journey. Like I try to like put everyone in the car. Hey, we're gonna take, it's like a amusement park. Like everybody getting on this ride, you're gonna enjoy it for my time. And then at the end, they let you go like, "Ooh, okay." That's how I kind of but you get that one person was like, "Nah, I don't," so hecklers are
they're interesting.
They're interested. They just want to be a part of the show. And once you realize that, it was like, okay, they know how to deal with them. But I don't really have too many hecklers like
That's
that.
Good.
I hope, I don't know, it was weird last night. I hope I don't get any more because I can't just enjoy the show. But I understand like people are rowdy now. We're outside. We're trying to relearn how to act in public places. Yeah.
Right.
So it was very odd. It was very odd for me. But I mean, I deal with them as much. I keep it all comedy. I say That's that. Good. I keep it comedy.
Yeah, I watched one of your actually a few of them. I've actually seen you in person, and I think you're hilarious.
Thank you
so control
much.
It super well.
I appreciate that.
But I think what's cool, what I like about you is that you can have your bit going, and then someone says something, and you kind of you'll say something to the person, you'll make a joke, and I'm like, how does he come up with that? It's so good, and you just go right back to whatever it is. That's so cool. I think it would take so much. Like, how often are you practicing? I'm just curious of like, what's your
oh my God, every day. Every day. Okay. Wow. Every day. Oh my God. Like comedy is everywhere, but I make sure I get on stage every day. If I don't have any shows, I go to open mics. I'm not opposed to open mics, Open mics that's where you go to the stumping grounds. That's where you gotta lift, you gotta get in shape.
Would you go back in time and change things about things like decisions you've made? Or are you okay? There's like no regrets that you have?
I definitely am like no regrets. Like it is what it is. That's how I live my life. I'm like, yo, if I go back and dwell on something, then I'm taking away from what I can be doing and moving forward. But if I did go back in time, I tell myself like, yo, do stuff sooner. Like I always wanted to do funny videos, but you know what it was? It was my own ego just saying like, nah, I don't like it. That's corny and all that. Like, and look at all these people now. And then eventually I came back around and would do, because I always wanted to do it, but I just felt like online, and especially Instagram, is like a highlight reel. Right. They don't see the lows. They don't see that. So when I put out funny videos, I was just worrying on like the comments, like, is it going to be funny and all that? Just worrying about other people's opinions instead of worrying about like, yo, this is funny to me. And now that I got over that and took my ego to the side and humbled myself and putting out like for videos, and I'm getting a great response. I was like, man, I should have been doing that. So that's the only thing I probably would regret is just like, I should have done it. My mind told me this 3 years ago to do funny videos, but I just like held myself back. And now that I learned that lesson, I will never like doubt myself. If I feel it in my gut and it says like you should do it, I should do it. Doubt that not. If anyone is listening, don't doubt yourself. If your gut tells you to do something, it's a reason why. It's that voice in your head to tell you like, yo, this is who I want. And then live with the decisions you make. Live with the consequences, So
I love that. What's your podcast called so people can go and check it out and follow it?
Oh yeah. I was cutting weight. And this is where we're combat meets fighting. Awesome. Combat means funny, meets funny. So we just like, we talk about boxing, we talk about like life, we talk about everything, current events, and we make it funny. It's just like if you ever want to sit in a barbershop and you can't do it as a woman, we talk about certain topics and it's just like so relatable. We just chill. We freestyle. I mean, none of us can rap, but it's just like it's a good time.
Any advice you would give to someone that is listening who wants to just get in the industry and,
if you love it, then go for it. It's going to be times where you feel like you're just running in place on a treadmill, but understand you're making moves. It's going to be times where you're going to go through every emotion. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to get angry. You're going to get excited. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to get sad. Every emotion throughout this journey, and never give up. I feel like right now, if you start something and you've been doing it for years, whatever you're doing it, and you feel like, yo, this is my dream, and just think about it. Like you've been doing it for like a year or 2 years. You're closer to your goal, to like getting the way you want to be, than to stop. You know what I mean? You've been doing it for 2 years. Why would you stop now? You're closer to your goal. Just keep going.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right,
and thank you all for listening. And always remember, guys, to live, love, laugh. Bye, guys.